All right, so I go over the exhaust on a couple different trucks I got. Of course, I don't think there's not a time I try to come out here and make a video and the train's not going by. But this is my '07 2500 HT, and unlike the earlier trucks, this exhaust is a little different. So, single out, I don't have my tape measure or I'd measure it. And weird tip. And then it's single in. And it actually has a Y pipe. Let me try to get forward here. It's kind of like the half tons, but bigger. And then it goes underneath the Allison. And I don't know if you can see it. There we go. So at the end, I don't know if the 06s are like this or not, but this is an 07. So it's a little different than the older ones, which was kind of weird to me, but whatever. Probably GM changing their supplier or way they do things. Who knows? Anyhow, my van. One of my other group members wanted the cats off of this. I didn't care because I live somewhere where I don't need them. And oh, my aunt. Anyhow, so he gave me he bought a van that they stole the cats off of it. And it's kind of hard to see, but so he gave me those parts. And then I took some crap I had laying around. Oh, this is picking this up. It likes to do this. But I made a Y pipe and used the V-band flans I had laying around. And then Duramax muffler and Duramax tailpipe. I want to say it was like an 04. And like a week later, I drove to Phoenix, which is a decent drive from where I live, and picked up a truck for my dad. And I noticed a vast improvement in mileage. The stock exhaust on the van is pretty restrictive. I think it was single 2.5 out over the axle. So 8.1s make plenty of torque already. I don't know. My radio's going to be on too. Come on, radio. Don't care. I mean, it's got a little tone to it, but it's still pretty quiet. A noisy power steering pump that's been that way since I bought this van. And then I had a louder muffler on the silver truck, and my wife was complaining, and I couldn't hear anybody when I was driving. And I live out in the sticks, so everywhere we go is a drive. So I took that off. But this Y pipe I had made for, I don't know, a long time ago for a different swap. And then I cut it and flipped it to fit a different swap. And then I sold that, kept the engine, sold the truck and bought my Kodiak. So I still had the Y pipe. So I made This single 3.5 inch with, you know, small leak. This muffler was on my red 8-1 swap, but then when I was loading up to move from Houston to North Carolina, I told my buddy, I said, make sure the Watts exhaust so I don't smack it. And then, of course, he didn't. And I didn't it, but it's still a Duramax muffler. There's the part number, I think. This is when I used to be able to find them fairly cheap on Craigslist. But lately I haven't seen. I've got one saved. The guy's had it listed for 2 years, and he wants, I think, too much for it. But since I was driving, I drive all my stuff, and kind of wanted to be able to hear things. I mean, it has. It's fairly quiet. Cruising, I can still talk and somewhat hear, even though I'm deaf. So there's that. And then 12, 13 years ago, I bought a muffler. This was a Duramax Ultraflow welded muffler for that truck when I had it. And there's my dog. And when I was getting the Colorado running, I did dual 2.5 into single 3.5 into that muffler. And let me start this. Now, granted, this is somewhat louder. I have a video of this. I think I uploaded it, I don't know, 6 months ago or something like that. But and this is actually the motor out of my Kodiak. So all my stuff is recycled more than a few times. But let's give you an idea what all that stuff sounds like. And then I'm still waiting. It's sad to say, but we're starting to get to 8 years. I won my claim with the VA, but I'm still waiting for the back pay from when I initially filed. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. So as soon as I get that money, I'm going to finish fixing where my wife backed it into the house. So I'm going to take the bed off that I finally found a bed. Get this dent fixed, paint the bed. I got to fix a couple other things. But once I get that, I'm going to buy a dyno and do a bunch of dyno stuff. And Amos doesn't live too far from me, so I'm sure he'll have some stuff that he wants to get dynoed. And I like having factual information about this stuff. And then I'll probably do some 8.1 to 8.8 dynoing and stuff like that. So I think that's it for now. Not too much going on. I've been dealing with medical stuff and everything else. So it's between the VA and all that. Kind of sucks the life out of you sometimes. But and then I went to California a couple months ago, and I didn't want to pay for California gas. So I made sure to bring my spare tank. I was getting gas like $2.70 here, and it was like $5 a gallon in California. So. But anyhow, that's all that's going on. Now you know what the older stock Duramax mufflers sound like an 8.1. And I'm down to all 8.1 vehicles now. So anyhow, thanks. I'm hoping to have more stuff here soon for you guys.